I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about I'm scared to let go of my ex.
This is one of those strange concepts that you don't quite know it until you feel it.
Yeah, and it is scary because we're afraid that if we kind of let go of the connection or the idea of it, or we start to move forward, that they're not going to come back. Mm-hmm. It's this really uncomfortable feeling of I've got to hold on to this, because if I don't hold on to this, and if I don't hold on to our connection, it will never come back again.
Mm-hmm. And it's strange because there might be a part of you that wants to let go. There might be a part of you that wants to be beyond this, that wants to move past this, but still there's a part that's hesitant because you think, well, if I fully let myself move on, mm-hmm. then they might be gone forever.
Yep.
And there's this almost fear of forgetting your ex, almost like what happens when you lose a loved one.
Yeah.
You start to have that fear of maybe one day I'll forget their voice, maybe one day they'll start to fade from my memory. We almost have that similar fear with moving on in relationships.
Yeah, it is a really scary thing. So we're going to talk about that today, because we know all of you are probably experiencing this, or most of you are just not wanting to let them go, because you feel like if you don't let them go, then it's over. But holding them on like this invisible string is the worst thing you can do, because in my experience, you want to let them go for them to come back. And I always talk about how when you finally let go, they sense that disturbance in the force.
Yeah.
And how many times did Margaret say, as soon as, with her local cases, as soon as I was going to close the case, because they hadn't contacted her, they would pick up the phone and call her.
It's one of those things we just can't explain. You know, it happens over and over again. It's a pattern that we see, but there's nothing that we can see to explain it.
I know, and it sounds crazy. We get it. But for some reason, that just seems to be the way these things play out. So you really have to let go and move forward. And that's why we're always saying, work on yourself. Do the workbooks or the creative healing course, 30 minutes a day. Get into therapy, heal, learn from your mistakes, learn the skills that we're teaching you. Do all those things moving forward, and that's when it seems like they come back. But so many people don't want to let go, and they wonder why things don't change.
And it's hard. You know, it's hard because it's your fear.
Yeah.
And so many of us do get stuck in that place where we want to let go, but we can't. We don't allow ourselves to. And you might also be feeling pressure from others, which adds to that tension there. You know, others might be saying, oh, there's plenty of fish in the sea.
Oh, yeah.
Just move on. Just let it go. Just forget about it. It's easy for them to say because they're detached from the situation.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know what it's like for you. They're not feeling that same intensity. But it does build to the pressure. Why can't I let go? I'm trying, but I just can't. You know, and many of you at the same time are also holding your ex on a pedestal. I had a really great coworker. She was a fantastic therapist. She would always say, when you have someone on a pedestal, there they are, far away from you, above you, beyond you, like hard to reach. And so we really have to start thinking of how we view our ex. You know, what place do they have in our lives? Are we holding them to this standard that we don't hold anybody to? Now, are we saying that they're the ultimate love of our lives, and we're not going to find anybody that ever meets up to that expectation? It's these kind of thoughts that can keep us stuck, and also places expectations onto your ex that might not feel comfortable for them either.
Yeah. I talked to somebody recently who's absolutely devastated over his breakup, and the breakup was over 3 years ago.
Wow.
And he just absolutely believes in every fiber of his being that if she doesn't come back, he's never going to be happy again. So we did a couple sessions, and he said, only last week was the first time I started to think maybe I could be happy without her, but I still don't want to let her go. And I'm like, but that's part of the process. You have to let go. You can't keep holding on. I don't know if they can sense it or we can feel it. There's a lot of things that happen in this universe that we don't understand, right? But all I can tell you is that doing this for a long time, it seems to be the way that it goes. So I want you to let go in a sense while you're moving forward and healing and processing, and not trying to manipulate or coerce things, because that usually makes things worse.
Right. And when I see somebody having trouble letting go, struggling with moving on, really still perseverating on the topic of their ex, a lot of times they're struggling to accept the breakup happened at all. You know, you're still processing that conversation, you're still processing the events, your brain is trying to make sense of life without them, you're trying to make meaning in your life without them.
Yeah.
Like that example you gave was excellent. And sometimes we struggle to realize how our ex has come to that decision. You know, why could they leave us? How could they leave us? We're left with all these questions that are unanswered, and it's hard to accept that uncertainty. So these are things that can be really difficult.
But it's part of the process. And it's really part of the process of getting them back too. Because if you don't let go and heal and grow and get to a place where you're confident with or without them, then when they do come back, you're not going to act natural. You're not going to act in your normal attractive state that you did when you initially attracted them. You're going to come out in a way that you're looking manipulative and controlling. So you have to do that. You have to start accepting this breakup, as hard as that may be, and that there are things in life that you can't control. You know, and that's so hard because it's scary. You feel out of control. You feel helpless in a way.
Yeah, you have to start accepting some fundamental truths about life and about relationships. You know, the fact that maybe there were mistakes that were made in the relationship that caused it to end. Maybe that they can make their own decisions, that someone can change their mind, that someone can, you know, decide to end a relationship unilaterally. So all of these things are hard truths that we have to lean toward accepting. And Craig, you're absolutely right. You know, the next time you do face your ex, if you're able to have a deeper acceptance of these truths, there's a lot less pressure.
Yeah.
So there's a lot less pressure for them to make the decision that you want. There's a lot less pressure on them to try to meet this super high expectation and this maybe perfect relationship that you've crafted in your mind about what it could be.
Yeah. And, you know, one thing you have to consider is that sometimes people get really hung up on, well, they said they were going to love me forever. They said they were going to, you know, be there forever and stick by my side, whatever. Remember, they made that decision based on the information that they had. Okay? They may have seen a lot of things in you since that agreement that they didn't like, or they were unattracted to, or that they were put off by. And so they're allowed to make new decisions based on new information. And that is hard to hear, but your behavior may have played a part in that. Not many of you were good partners, but many of you were selfish and self-absorbed in different ways. Maybe you were neglectful, or maybe you were controlling, smothering. So you have to understand that when they decided to date you, it was based on the information that they knew. And as your relationship progressed, they learned a lot about you, and the relationship dynamic changed.
And it's tough. At this point, you're thinking, well, what do I do now? You know, how do I lean more to that acceptance? Is there anything that I change? Many of you that struggle to let go also struggle in no contact.
Yes.
You struggle to not reach out to your ex and not try to take action in this type of a situation. But no contact really is part of gaining your power back.
Yes.
You know, you're preventing further hurt. This is something that you can actively do. You can choose not to reach out to them, to create that space and show them with your actions and show them by respecting them that you are leaning toward acceptance of uncertainty. Acceptance of some of these difficult things that happen after a breakup.
And that is a very attractive thing to do, to be able to do that. But when you're still struggling with that, it's going to turn them off. All those times you keep reaching out, here's my excuse. I mean, I had so many people last week, I felt like kept giving me excuses. Oh, they had a storm in their area and there was a tornado and I just wanted to check to make sure they were okay. And then they didn't respond. And now I wish I hadn't have done it.
Yeah.
No reaching out means no reaching out. Okay? And it does help create attraction. The space, the fear of losing you takes time. You have to trust that process.
Exactly. And really the point of this video, it's to encourage you to ask yourself some of these hard questions. What am I struggling to accept? In this breakup, what am I struggling to accept? So I think that makes a really great journal prompt, maybe in the ones of you who are going through the workbooks, who are doing the knowledge, the creative healing course, or not. If you're just watching this video, that could be a great start to start thinking about, okay, where am I in this healing process? Where am I in really accepting the breakup? What parts of it are the most difficult? Maybe it's the entire thing. Start trying to break it down for yourself, and I think there could be a lot of self-discovery in that.
Yeah, and that's exactly like, you know, with the creative healing course and the workbooks. It's questions and questions and tough questions in very different areas of relationships to reflect and to grow, because you have to find those blind spots and fix those areas and improve your skills. But many times we have to look at our relationship in a lot tougher of a way than we want to. It's uncomfortable, but that's how you grow, and that's how you really get to a better place when they do come back. And if they don't come back, you're still gonna have learned so much that you're gonna feel so much more confident in understanding how a dynamic and an attraction and you know, that connection, to keep it strong. You want to learn how to keep it strong.
Exactly.
People don't like to do that. They want them back the easy way, but they don't want to take care of it. Right?
Yeah, and everyone moves at their own pace. So if you're watching this video and you're like, I'm not even close to letting this go, you know, I'm just now understanding all of this stuff. Maybe you're new to the channel and hearing a lot of this information for the first time. Take your time. Everyone moves at their own pace. You know, acceptance, moving towards that takes a lot of time, takes a lot of self-reflection. Some days you need breaks of just thinking about it at all. Take it step by step, and with time, you're likely to have a different perspective of the breakup entirely. You might start to shift the focus back on yourself, live a little bit more of your own life. You know, and these are really the things that, ironically, an ex starts to sense. Oh man, they're not acting in the ways that I expected. Man, you know, I'm feeling like they don't expect me to be perfect or to chase them or, you know, to be the person to fix this relationship anymore. You know, wow, this space feels a little different than what I thought. So allow opportunities for different things to happen.
If you don't, what's going to happen is when they come back, you're going to still be in the same dynamic of acting like you did when you got dumped. That dynamic, it's not going to feel equal. It's this power imbalance where you're trying, you're not yourself, you're not relaxed like you were when you first started dating them. You're coming from a fearful place, and that will not attract them back. So letting them go in a healthy way where you're healing and processing and growing is really the way to attract them back, right? Because if you're holding on and you're scared, when they come back, you're going to still do those things where you're begging, you're trying to force them, you're trying to double text them, or can we talk about this? Can we talk about us again? And they're just going to get overwhelmed by those things because you hear it every day, right?
Right. And I want to be clear, we're not saying that you should just forget about your ex. In fact, many people who actually move through acceptance, they have a different view on what a relationship would be like with their ex. You're then approaching the relationship from, how can this person add to my life? How can we be together as a team? Rather than, I need this person. I need this person for validation. I need this person to be okay. I need this person because I'm afraid of life without them.
I need them for the source of my happiness. That's not going to attract anyone back.
Exactly.
Okay, because it just looks desperate. So a lot to consider. Processing, healing, growing, learning. That's what you should be doing in no contact. And I hear success stories all the time. People tell me all the time, they're in the course, they're loving the workbooks. I talk to people, and they feel so much better when they're focused on that instead of obsessing every minute of every day about where they're X and what they're doing.
Exactly.
It's putting the focus in the right place.
And
okay.
We promise you the water on this side is just fine.
The water on the side?
It feels scary, you know, but the water on this side, the grass on this side, you know, it's not as scary as it seems once you start making some of those steps to, you know, move past this, to start living your life again.
Yep. All right, so hopefully this has been helpful to you. If you want to get our help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Coach Victoria is also available for Skype coaching.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name on the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.